Continuing from previous lesson, we will use criteria for two lines to be perpendicular to identify polygon types. Because whenever we need to prove that two sides of a polygon are at 90-degree angle, we will prove that the product of their slopes is equal to -1. And whenever we need to prove that two sides of a polygon are parallel, we will prove that slopes of the sides are equal. Let's get started with the couple of questions here. In first question, we are given a polygon ABCD, and what is required of us is to prove that this is a parallelogram. Let's name the vertices of this quadrilateral as A, B, C, and D. And write down the vertices from the grid. Here A is 7 units to the left of y-axis and 2 units above x-axis. Therefore, its coordinates would be -7 and 2, because this is x-axis and this is y-axis. And coordinates for B are -1, 6, because B is 1 unit to the left of y-axis and 6 units above the x-axis. C is 5 units to the right of y-axis and 2 units above the x-axis, so its coordinates are 5, 2. And coordinates of D are -1, -2. -1 and -2. Let us find slope of all the four sides and see if the opposite sides have equal slopes. So slope of AB, is equal to, we'll use formula y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. The starting point can be labeled as x1, y1, and the end point can be labeled as x2, y2. So doing this will give us 6 minus 2 over -1 minus 7. So this is going to give us the slope for AB, which will be equal to 4 over -1 plus 7, means this is 4 over 6, and in the lowest form this is equal to 2 over 3. Now let's find out slope of opposite side, which is DC. Slope of DC. This is, we'll use the same formula, y2 minus y1. This is called a two-point slope formula. Whenever we have 2 points, we can always find out the slope of line joining them. So this is equal to 2 minus -2 divided by 5 minus -1. So this will be equal to 2 plus 2, because negative time negative will be plus, divided by 5 plus 1. So this is equal to 4 over 6, and in the lowest form this becomes equal to 2 over 3. So here this is slope of AB and slope of DC. They are both equal, as or since slope of AB is equal to slope of DC. This means that AB side is parallel to DC. And now we are going to do the same thing for side AD and BC. Slope of AD is equal to same formula, 2 minus 2 over -7 minus -1. So this will become equal to 2 plus 2 over -7 plus 1, and this will give us 4 over -6. So the answer is 2 over -3 or -2 over 3. Let's find out similarly the slope of BC. And slope of BC is 6 minus 2 over -1 minus 5. It doesn't matter which one point you label as x1 y1 and the other point could be labeled as x2 y2. It doesn't matter which way, you can label any one of them. So that shouldn't affect your answer. 6 minus 2 is 4 over -6. This is equal to -4 over 6, and this will give us -2 over 3. So we can see that slope of AD is equal to slope of BC. Since slope of AD is equal to slope of BC, this means that AD is parallel to BC. So what happens when a polygon has opposite sides parallel? That is called a parallelogram. So we can say, so A, B, C, D is parallelogram. And now if we want to prove that is it a rectangle, we must prove that the product of non-parallel sides is equal to -1. Like really, we want to prove that this angle here, this angle is 90 degrees. That's what we want to prove. So we must take product of AB and BC. Product of slopes of AB and BC. So let's find out product of slopes of AB and BC is equal to, what was the slope of AB? That was 2 over 3, and product and slope of BC is equal to -2 over 3. So this is equal to -4 over 9, which is not equal to -1. This is not equal to -1. Thus, this is not a rectangle. So AB is not perpendicular to BC. Thus, ABCD is not a rectangle. If it was a rectangle, then the product of these slopes should have been -1. Now let's take a look at the second question that is given. And for second question, here we are given 4 points and we will find slope of line AB and slope of line CD. Because they are given parallel, so we are going to equate them, and from this equation we will find the value for the unknown h. So let's do that. So here we have AB, A and B. This is point A, which has coordinates 3, 5, 3, 5, and there is another point B which has coordinates 7, 10. If we label this as x1, y1 and label this as x2, y2, then call this slope of AB as m1. m1 is, if m1 is slope of AB, then what is value of m1? m1 is equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So this should give us 10 minus 5 over 7 minus 3. So this answer for this in simplified form is 5 over 4. Let's find out slope of the other line that passes through the point C and D. Slope of CD, and similarly C and D are 2 points and coordinates for C are 0, 2, 0, 2, and for D it's 1h, 1h. So if we label this as x1, y1 and label this as x2, y2, then what will be the slope of CD? That would be equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. If we call the slope as m2, then m2 will be equal to what? H minus 2 divided by 1 minus 0. So because that's again 2 point slope formula, so this is m2. The value of m2 is equal to h minus 2. Now it is given in question that this line through AB and line through CD are parallel. If they are parallel, then slopes must be equal. If AB is parallel to CD, then their slopes are equal. Then m1 is equal to m2. This means that h minus 2 is equal to 5 over 4. So h can be found by transferring 2 on the other side of this equation. 5 over 4 plus 2, and by simplifying this fraction, this should give us 4, 5 plus 8. So this should be, the value of h would be 13 over 4. This is value of unknown h. For this value of h, the two lines will be parallel. And for the second part of the same question, it is given that the both lines AB is perpendicular to CD. Then what is value of h? If AB is perpendicular to, so then what should be the product of these slopes should be equal to -1. So one is 5 by 4 and the other slope is h minus 2. If AB line is perpendicular to CD, then product of slopes is equal to -1. This means that M1 times M2 is equal to -1. So M2 is equal to h minus 2, and what was M1? M1 was equal to 5 over 4. So this h minus 2 multiplied by 5 over 4 is equal to -1. So in order to find out value for h minus 2 is equal to -1 times 4 over 5. Just reciprocate on the other side. So h would be equal to 2 minus 4 over 5, and now we can solve for h. This would be 10 minus 4, and this value of h would be 6 over 5. So this is value of h for which two lines will be perpendicular, which is required value of h. And this condition of perpendicularity or parallel lines is, in many places it's used for triangles to prove that they are right angle triangle, for rectangles to prove that they are rectangles, for parallelograms, and for many other polygons.